Right. Next, we have Waiting from 2005, starring Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, Caitlin Doubleday, Andy Milonakis, Dane Cook, with Chi Bride and Luis Guzman. But also we have John Francis Daly, Alana Ubach, and David Koechner, who are not on the front cover. A lot of good talent in this film, dude. A lot of good talent. I never rewatching this for the first time in years. I didn't realize how 50-50 this movie is for me. Like something really funny could happen, followed by something that's, you know. So the story is it follows a bunch of workers of this restaurant called Shenanigans, and you have Dean, played by Justin Long. You have Monty, played by Ryan Reynolds, and an assortment of other characters. Today is the first day for John Francis Daly's character, Mitch. And the running joke with Mitch is that every time he tries to talk, he gets interrupted. And that leads to a pretty good, self-righteous moment for him at the end of the film. But, yes. So, like I said, there's funny things and there's some things going on. So, they have this, what they call the penis showing game. They have a game where you have to, you have to get someone to look at your dick. Best way I can explain it. But not like, hey, yo, look at my dick. No, you have to be about it. You have to be a little sneaky about it. You have to, there's the brain where you grab your nuts and you put it in your hand so they stick out like a brain, There's the goat, which is the holy grail. If you can do that, and you got to, and then there's the bat wing where you take your nuts, you split it open like a bat wing. Something else I really remember, but yeah, you don't see dick. You do see a pair of nuts once, the brain, but yeah, I don't think that would actually be allowed. I mean, Dan, who's David Koechner's character, he allows a lot of bullshit in this restaurant. I don't think that would be allowed in a regular restaurant. Also, what wouldn't be allowed, but probably does happen. So, there's that old adage, hey, don't complain in a restaurant or they'll spit in your food. Well, this takes it to a whole new level. There's this bitch, and I mean, she's a bitch. And she's at Amy's table. Amy is Dean's girlfriend. And so, she's like, I can't take this bitch anymore. Can you get my table for me? To Monty. So he goes over there with Mitch to take it, and she complains about her steak not being done the right way. So he takes it back, and then they run it through the complaint machine, I guess you can call it. And what they do here is they give it a little extra. So first of all, you put a little extra Parmesan cheese on the garlic bread, and that's where you stick it down into your taint and rub it in there. And you add a little extra gravy to the mashed potatoes, but how can a loogie in it, and then a little garlic salt on top of the steak with the dandruff, and to finish it off with just a little bit of sprouts from your pubes. Yes. This is where Dane Cook shines, because he comes through and he, shows the new guy how they do it and stuff. And Dane Cook doesn't have a big role in this, but the role that he plays in this, especially at the end, is pretty funny. Like, he's in the back the entire time and only has conversations with cooks and a few other waiters and waitresses that come in. And so, spoiler alert, of course, at the end of this film, Mitch has enough. Everyone's trying to interrupt him. He's talking to Bishop, who's played by Chi McBride. He's the wise old black man of the group. And he asks, so how was your first day? And he stops. Because he knows he gets interrupted every time. So he goes to talk, and he gets interrupted by Rob Benedict's character, who has his own problems of his own, and he has enough. He freaks out. He tells everyone to fuck off, and he quits. And then as he points to Floyd, is Dane Cook's name. He points to Dane Cook, and he says, most of all, fuck you. And he's like, what the fuck did I ever do to you, man? Well, he's looking around. They all look back, and he's doing the goat. He's doing the goat. So, the Holy Grail. And then they bring him back in. They're like, hey, man, no, you're the fucking man. Get back in here. So it's totally justified for him. And, so the thing with Rob Benedict's character is there's two things to the story that don't really go anywhere with one of them. And the other one just kind of sort of goes somewhere. So one is he's in a relationship with one of the another employee that works there. I think her name is mentioned a couple times, but she's never seen. He tries to call her, she doesn't answer. Obviously, she's cheating on him, and he's taking all her shifts or whatever. And so that doesn't really go anywhere. But the main thing with him is that there was an incident that happened, and this is where you get, oh, okay, that's kind of funny, followed by wait a minute, kind of moment. So it's explained that there was one time he was taking a piss in the bathroom, and he was at the urinal, and there was a guy next to him in the urinal next to him, and the guy was checking out his junk, and that made him freeze up, and now he can't piss in the bathroom anymore. He can't do it in the stall because he's afraid that he gets paranoid that someone's looking at his junk. This is direct. He explains this to Bishop, and as Bishop's going to help him, give him advice, this is immediately followed by him doing the Batwing to Luis Guzman's character. And it's like, wait a minute, I get it's supposed to be a funny joke. Oh, he can't pee in public because he doesn't want people looking at his junk, and he shows his junk. It just doesn't make any sense. And that's one of the things. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. He's paranoid and stuff like that. And then, but wait a minute, he's paranoid. Why does he show his? Doesn't make any sense. And in the end, it kind of goes somewhere like he gets told, and you gotta just pretend they're cheering for you to pee, and it'll be fine. And he pisses his pants while hitting on high school girls. And that's another thing in here that's kind of, I don't know. So Monty is obsessed with this almost 18-year-old played by Vanessa Lange. She was over 18 at the time, of course, but he's obsessed with banging her, but he wants to wait till she's 18. But it gets to a point where by the end of the film, he's ready to just go at it. Then he stops himself and says, we're going to wait a week. She's like, well, are you afraid I'm going to call the cops on you? Guys, don't fall for that. Don't fall for that bullshit. Alright? Don't fall for that bullshit. I myself have never fallen for it, but if a girl tells you, if you're with someone who's underage, first of all, don't do that. Wait till they're 18 at least. And they say, oh, I won't tell on you. That's it. To quote Star Wars, it's a trap. They can fuck you in an instant if you do that. So he's smart to know now. Wait a week. He's got a week. A week. He can wait. He's waited all this time. He can wait a week. Right? Right? So there's that. But Vanessa Lange, she's very attractive. Very different than when she was Vange on Are You Afraid of the Dark? Very different. But, yeah. There are other characters. Like, there's these two fucking... There's another thing instead of this... Things that aren't funny. T-Dog and Nick. I think they're the two worst characters in this film. They do absolutely nothing to further the plot. At all. All they do is stupid shit. Like, inhale all the... So they're showing they want to get high, right? They inhale all the Cool Whip. It's in those kind of cans, right? Does that actually get you high? Whipped cream? Really? But then there's a scene where T-Dog sets... I'm going to call him Dennis because that's his character in the movie, but Dan on fire. It's just a like induced coma dream or something. I don't know, but yeah, I don't care for those characters. They even go as far as to do a rap video in the credits with these two. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? Come on. I understand Andy Milonakis has the kind of disability where he looks like looks and talks like an adolescent, but he's actually 45 years old now. It's really weird. It happens, right? And, the guy played Isaac in Children of the Corn. He wasn't really a kid when they did it, He was in Tammy and the T-Rex, too. But yeah, so Dean's story in this, which I haven't talked about till now, is that his mom is disappointed in him because he's 22 years old and he's working at a restaurant instead of having an actual job. He's compared to a former school companion of his, named Chet, who just got his bachelor's degree. And they come full circle with this. He's offered a position of management, which pisses off people, but, why? Dan is someone that they're not connected with, right? But this is Dean. They know him. They're connected with him. You think that maybe they'd be more, open to him taking over. But no, they get all pissed and quoting, "Yes, massa, right away, massa, right away, massa. No bacon on the salad, massa." It's just like, why are you guys keep getting pissed? It just makes no sense to me. But his story comes full circle. There's a thing where he gets a tip that isn't enough. Like, he thinks he should get a $10 tip, which, you go by the percentage. I won't be able to do it, but $10 tip, and they give him $2 basically, and he flips out, and that causes problems. And then at the end of the night, 3 minutes before closing, Chet shows up, and he gives him a big ass tip, which pisses him off more because that's telling him, hey, I'm doing better than you, and you need this more than me. So he quits his job. And of course, Dennis is one of those. Damn it. Dennis, that was his name in Final Destination 5. Dan is one of those guys that's just like, no, you're fired. No, you're fired. You're fired. You're not going to quit. You're fired, kind of thing. And that kind of finishes his story, although, it's really weird. I don't know. His story kind of just ends. There's really, what's he going to do now? He just quit. Overall, this movie is good. When it's funny, it's funny. The stuff that comes out funny is funny, but the stuff that comes out as being is really meh. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7. I thought it would be higher than that, but I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's a decent film. I don't mind watching it. There's not a funny stuff in it, but it's paralleled by the... And there's one thing I want to mention before I go, though, is that this movie came out in 2005, and, it's interesting to remember back when restaurants had smoking and non-smoking sections, because there's smoking in the restaurant here, and nowadays you don't see that at all. They got rid of that. So it's really weird to watch older movies where they have restaurants and they're smoking, and it's just, I don't know. It just threw me off a minute. Oh yeah, that's right. You used to be able to do that. That's right, smoking and not smoking. But yeah, and Emmanuel Shariki's in this film, and she doesn't do anything really, other than, and also she's a lesbian, which being a lesbian, I don't know. But there is one funny moment with her though, where she's talking to this woman who got problems with a boyfriend. She goes, I think I'm just done with men altogether, and Manuel Sriki goes, let me get you a drink. That's kind of funny. But overall, 7. Decent film. So what are your thoughts on Waiting? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. By the way, there is a sequel. And if you want to know my thoughts on that movie, tune in on Tuesday. Until then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.